Yes, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghostoul Podcast. It's been a while, it's been a couple of weeks. I've needed it for my own self to ground myself, get back to a sane level because I have not been feeling it at all for the last few weeks. And I'd just like to thank everybody that is showing me support of my little video that I put out the other day. It wasn't to get sympathy, it was just to let you guys know what was going on, really. But yeah, enough about me. Today we have got an awesome guest. This lady is so busy. She's multi-talented, and I think we just got to bring her out. We have the awesome Charlie Hall. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thank you, and really excited to be on the show. Thank you so much for asking me to come on.
That's all right. It's not a problem. It's I've been seeing what you've been doing lately and what you got coming up, and it's like, wow, you're so busy.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like we
been
need to talk to
absolutely
her.
crazy. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
crazy, but I'm loving every minute of it. It's just so exciting, and it's just like one thing happens, then another, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool.
You've got to grab it while it's there, though, ain't you? That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just let it go. So, how have you been? I hope you're well.
Yeah, I've been really good. I've just been writing loads, filming loads, and got lots coming up. And I'm out on the extras of a Blu-ray for Jake West's Razorblade Smile re-release that's just come out. So I'm excited about that. It's come out in America, and then it'll be out in the UK in early 2026. So it's got a little interview. Yay!
Nice. That's what you want. so,
Exactly.
so Charlie, as I said,
Yes.
thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
For those that are watching that may not know who you are, if you could just give us a little
Yeah.
rundown, just to get everybody up to date, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm a paranormal writer and researcher and horror writer, short filmmaker, medium, musician. Yeah, very busy, spooky lady, and always out and about and investigating. And I'm a big explorer. I just love to look into everything and look up every theory. And yeah, so
Awesome. So, just gonna say a few hellos first. We've got Ali in the building. Hello, Ali. Hope you're well, mate. Sadie is here. Diane is here. Who else we got? We got Tracy all the way from Australia, 6 a.m. That's
oh wow,
dedication for you.
yes,
Awesome. Thank you,
yeah.
Tracy. Also, thank you for your lovely gifts. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Cine Downloads. Hello. Hope you're good. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Oh, so need downloads. Hey guys,
Dean of the Dead TV. Charlie.
you know.
Who else is here? Oh, that's it, man. Just the usual hellos and goodbyes. Oh, we've got another one here on Facebook. Craig, hello, mate. Thanks for joining us this evening. Um, so, Charlie, what got you interested in the paranormal? Where did the spark come from?
Well, do you know, from a really, really early age, I know it sounds really cliche and kind of typical sort of thing, mediums and that say, but I could see, feel, hear spirit and, everything unexplained. I just experienced it. It happened to me. And I mean, my mum tells me from when I was really young, when I was about 3, 4 years old. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
originally from Northern Ireland, and she used to say to everyone, oh, she's a spooky child. Because, like, she said one time I was in a room and her and my stepdad like heard me laughing like crazy, and they were like, "What on earth?" Went into the room to see what was happening, and apparently I was rolling around on the floor and just giggling. And they said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "It's the man, mummy. The man's tickling me." And obviously they're horrified. There's nobody there in the room, and so they started asking me questions. And my mum sort of believes that the man I described, was possibly her father that passed away when she was 13.
Yeah.
And it just kind of went on from there. Things used to move around. When I was a kid, I couldn't understand why things were moved in my room. And my mum would be like, why have you moved this? What are you doing? And I knew that I hadn't done it. It was just really peculiar. And it just sparked a real sort of interest in me as to what's happening. What is this? Because nobody else has got this. I'd like, my mum used to have all the unexplained books. I don't know if you remember them. And
Yeah.
lots of kind of crime and horror story books and things. And I used to read them, and at the unexplained, I'd be like looking at all the pictures, the ghosts and all these weird apparitions. And I was just fascinated. I want to know more about this. I just want to see what else is out there. And when, pictures of like aliens and things you'd see. And I was just always very curious and very interested in things that I didn't understand, and especially as so much was happening to me.
Yeah.
You know, I used to have premonitions. Unfortunately, not as intense as I used to when I was young. I mean, I'd sort of know things before they happened, and you know, I'd freak the parents out a couple of times, but I sort of would tell them that something was going to happen. Like we'd go into an area that I'd never been to and we didn't know, and I'd be like, okay, there's going to be a, you know, a blossom tree over there. There'll be a girl coming around here, and then they'd be like, you know, when it would actually happen. And the same
Oh
with
wow.
dreams. Yeah, dreams as well. I used to get you know, a lot of very vivid dreams of things that would happen, or I'd get messages in dreams. So it's very much been a part of my world since I was tiny, and it just got more and more as I got older. So I think as well with my parents, because my mum is also a medium,
Okay.
but she stepped out. You know, she didn't really use it when she was younger, I think, because, you know, being brought up in Ireland and in that kind of era as well, you know, people were very much like against that kind of thing, and it just wasn't the norm. And she only started sort of using it in recent years, when we actually started going on platform together, you know, giving messages together.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, my dad, he's in Ireland. He is, I mean, he used to be in Van Morrison, and he's a druid. He's founder of the Ulster Druid Order. So I
Oh
think for
wow.
me, luckily, it was very much in my blood and very much around me. So even though I didn't meet my dad till I was 18, it was just kind of there. And yeah, it just came natural to me, all of my sixth sense
Yeah, yeah.
and just, you know, feelings that I had, like your normal sort of gut instinct for me. I would just follow these signs, follow these things, and, you know, I'd meet people and just have a knowing. You know, I just know things about them, or I get images, like pictures.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was interesting, yeah, trying to deal with that when I was growing up, when I was a kid and a teenager. You know, it's kind of like people thought I was a bit strange.
Wow. I can imagine. I bet you had a lot of headaches as well.
Yeah.
All the stress and that in your mind. Wow. So you mentioned your dad's a druid. Do you ever go and do things with him, like spiritually and things like
Yeah,
that?
we do, because I said he lives over there, and we go to a lot of different stone circles, and it's quite nice because he, you know, does druidic rituals wherever we go, and it's
Yeah.
nice just to watch and listen to it, and it's a very nice sort of you know, following the druidism, because they're very much at one with the earth and with spirit, and he's so wise and so knowledgeable, and I just love it when we're out there somewhere really remote, you know, at a stone circle, or sometimes
Yeah,
we go
yeah.
to like some inauguration sites, and the energy, just the earth's energy while you're carrying out these rituals is phenomenal. And especially, you know, with the stones, I mean, we've been to lots of different ones. There's one, Ballino, which is a really beautiful one. And as you walk up to it, there's like a big passageway covered by trees in an arch. And I got sort of halfway up and I started seeing loads of things kind of darted about. Like there was money and there was Polly Pockets and there was ribbons. And I'm like, Dad,
Yeah.
what's this, you know? And it's obviously where people, even now to this day, leave offerings for the gods, and
Yeah.
then it leads up into where the, you know, the stone circle is, and that's actually right by the mountains of Mourne, which you can see in the distance. It's absolutely beautiful, which is where C.S. Lewis found inspiration for Narnia, the Narnia stories.
Oh wow.
So yeah, actually a lot of, you know, his stuff comes from places in Northern Ireland and folkloric places there. But yeah, Baigmore is another wonderful stone circle complex in Northern Ireland that
Mm.
we just had the best time there. It's so remote. Like, I mean, we got lost. We're driving round, and eventually found it, and it was definitely worth it. There's like
Yeah.
7 stone circles, and from the minute I stepped on the land, the psychic sense that everything's all going, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And I sort of walking through, you know, I saw a spirit lady, and then when you get over on the right hand side, there's like a very unusual stone complex that's just full of all different stones, known as the Dragon's Teeth. And I kept hearing children. I'm thinking, that's really odd. I was like, what's going on? Because we were the only people there. There was nobody at
Yeah.
all. And then I saw 3 children kind of run past the circle, and I'm thinking, hmm. And then when we'd looked into it afterwards, we found out that, you know, years ago there were some sort of, you know, bones and remains of children found under there, because obviously it was, used for burial and burial
Okay.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
ceremonial purpose. So yeah, that was a very active place for me. I saw lots of different things there. Hmm.
Wow, that's crazy. So when you
Yeah,
say you see people, how do you
yeah,
see them? How does it look? Is it like we would see each other, or is it
yeah,
in the mind and you have a different, like a TV screen in there?
yeah.
Like how does it work?
It's strange because sometimes I will actually see, with my physical eyes, I get like
Yeah.
a flash of a person, or sometimes I get like, a shadow or a silhouette.
Hmm.
But most of the time, it's the only way I can describe it is like it's like an overlay from here. So like I'll be looking at
Okay.
you now with my physical
Yeah.
eyes, but then another image comes across sort of in my third eye.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if I said to you now, where were you yesterday afternoon? And then you think back into your head that, I don't know, you were at a friend's house or something, and you picture then where you were yesterday. It's
Oh,
kind of like
right.
that,
It's like
like
that.
a memory on top of my now current site.
Ah,
Yeah.
so they sort of like overlay and blend in together, sort of thing.
Yeah, and especially like as an example, I went to the Gracedieu Priory
Oh,
up
right.
in
Yes. Good.
Coalville. I
Good place.
love
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
place. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just fantastic, and there's so much energy there, so much
Yeah.
history. And for me, it was just like a spiritual delight. I was like, oh my goodness, there's a nun over there, and there's a lady there, and there's a da da da, and I could see them all around everywhere. And it was like another layer of like time was happening at the same time. So I was
Oh,
seeing
okay.
everything in my present with my eyes, but then I could see the whole scene, the whole way around me of the past happening, at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was quite surreal. I was like, yeah,
Oh, it must be confusing sometimes, but also pretty awesome to be able to have that gift and that ability to see everything.
yeah,
Is it at every location, or is it only certain times that this happens, or is it? Do you have to open up for this to allow it to come through?
yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. And funny enough, I was talking about this recently because as a medium, I get frustrated sometimes because I can be at a place or meet someone and I'll be seeing, hearing, feeling everything.
Yeah.
I'll be like sort of sensory overload. But then I can go to another place and I'm like, okay, it's quiet here, not really picking up on much, or I meet someone and I won't get the pictures or the knowing. So I'm not quite sure why that is. But maybe just I guess because I'm believing very much more now in the quantum theory. So,
Okay.
after all my sort of years of research and investigations, and I just now I'm starting to believe that it's more about that time just is. All of time just is, whether it's past, present, future, which is man made anyway,
Yeah.
that it's all just one big energy field that we tap in and out of. And the more sort of evidence and research, I do and get, the more I really believe that. So I suppose, for instance, like with any energy waves or antennas, you get stronger energies in certain places.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder, or realize that's maybe what's happening with the mediumship is that sometimes I can just tune in a bit stronger than at other places. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know if I'd like to have that gift. I think
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm quite happy just seeing a glimpse of something every now and again.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want them talking to me or anything like that.
Well, when I was younger,
The
I used
pressure.
to, yeah, when I was younger, I used to get it, especially in my teens. It was so strong. It's like, I'd be in bed trying to go to sleep, and someone, a spirit would just be leaning over me. I'd be like, oh, for goodness sake, not now, please. And it's strange because other times, I can tap into some of it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'll get a slight glimpse or a slight image, but yeah, I normally in my sort of, shall we say, everyday kind of life, I don't just kind of tune in, but it happens sometimes without me even realizing. I'll be chatting to someone at work and I can see their relatives standing next to them, or
Oh
um,
wow. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's really weird. And like, was it? I think it was last year. I was out in just having a coffee with some family, and I was out with my sister-in-law and her friend, and I saw a dog, spirit dog, ran under the table in like this coffee shop, and I'm kind of going. And I thought I won't say anything because obviously I don't know if her friend or that are into it. So I thought,
Yeah.
and then I saw a lady standing behind the chair where she was, and I thought, and my mum, she was with me, and she was like, you're picking up on something, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then eventually I did tell the girl, the lady, about who was standing behind her, and she's like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God, it's my grandma. And then I told her the dog's name, and she was like, oh my God, that's, the dog was a Pride of Joy. You got that right. And I was like, yeah, I hadn't actually tuned in today, but they came to see me or see you. Yeah. Yeah, yes. I never
wow.
know when it's going to happen. I never know.
Oh, it's a nice surprise, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Actually, I'll tell you what happened recently.
Thank you, Ali, so much for the super chat. Awesome. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
And Sadie. Sorry, carry on. Do apologise.
I know, I was going to say, I'll tell you something that happened, something, very personal and private, which I've not shared before, but you asking about, kind of when it happens. I had a
Yeah, yeah.
very, very, intense spiritual mediumistic experience last year. And I've only ever told my very close friends. I was in hospital last year. I got a very bad infection, and the infection wasn't clearing. And, the doctors were kind of like, we're going to try one more course of antibiotics. And, I was on a drip constantly. They were going to try a couple more and see what happened. And I was in so much pain because I had an infection down here.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember I was laying in the hospital, and, it was nighttime, and I went to roll over and I was crying. I was just in so much pain. And all of a sudden, at the end of the bed, I suddenly saw 3 shadows. And the room I was in, they turned the lights off for the night, but there was just, tiny little grill thing on the door because I was actually in a room by myself.
Oh, okay.
And I sort of looked and I thought, oh, no, not now, not now. I'm laying here in agony, please. And it was just strange. Then there was 2 more by the door, and I thought, this is really odd. And as I went to roll over, just because I was really sore, and I swear to God, I actually cried. A nun walked through the door towards me in the hospital. And I looked and I thought, no. I've had so much medication here. I'm tripping out,
Yeah.
So I closed my eyes, opened my eyes, and she was still there. And I thought, this is really weird. And the ones at the end of the bed were still there. And you know what? When you're obviously I was scared about what was going to happen in hospital, in so much pain. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with this. It feels comfortable. And I said, as I rolled over, she sat on the seat next to me in the hospital. And I had my arm leaning over like this, and I've never experienced anything so real in my life. As my hand was down, she held my hand, and I physically felt it.
Oh, wow.
And I literally fell asleep. And the next day, how, coincidence, I don't know, I started to respond to the antibiotics. And my mum came to the hospital, and I told her, and I was crying, really crying, because it was just such a phenomenal experience. And she couldn't believe it. The people came in, the doctors, and said, well, she's responding now. And my mum said, oh my goodness, maybe it was some divine intervention, kind of thing. But that was a time when it came, spirit came in unexpectedly that was much appreciated. And
it helped you. Yeah.
I would never forget that. It was unbelievable. And I recovered and was out of hospital, a couple of days later. And yeah.
So your message would be like, embrace whatever happens.
Yeah.
If you see it, if it comes to you, wants to help, just let it happen,
Exactly. And I mean, I don't know exactly what that was. Was it spirit? Was it, I don't know, my higher self? Was it? But sometimes, I mean, obviously, I personally do believe that there's absolutely more out there than we understand. There's no question in my mind. I just think that we're not sure exactly what it is yet and how it works. And I've got a feeling it might be something that we don't quite expect. But in whatever form it comes through, it is, very helpful to us sometimes as well. Even with synchronicities, when you have a synchronicity or a message a message comes down to you through, whether it is a dream or if you just get, like when a thought drops in your head.
Yeah.
You just kind of get that thought and you think, okay. Like I've very much learned myself to follow those signs and those messages. Yeah. I mean, I proper, a couple of years ago, I had, when the thing with synchronicity where you keep seeing numbers and patterns.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is really strange. Why am I seeing this number constantly? And it was actually like 111. I'm thinking, okay. And I started to follow the numbers. And every time I saw those numbers, something good happened in my life, or something would progress, or I'd know to step in this direction, that direction. And I now actually follow that as signs. Whenever I start to see patterns happening in life, even if it's something like, something will just drop in your, like I said, something in your mind, in your
Yeah.
dream, I actually now take them as pointers in the direction I need to go. And for me, it always
It's
works.
working, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Before I would have kind of palmed it off and gone, oh, whatever. But
cool.
now, because of results and things that
Yeah.
have happened, and again, I don't know whether that kind of jumps into the whole quantum belief and the quantum field of
Yeah.
those energetical things that we nip in and out of.
Well, we might as well go with it. If it's working for you, who's to say it's not a good thing?
Yeah.
So, we've got a question from Tracy. Charlie, have you ever had to tell spirits to go away because it was overwhelming of what you were seeing that they were showing you?
Mm, not particularly with what I've been shown, but things about, well, like I sometimes have things where I might get sort of spirits saying or showing me a sign of if someone's unwell,
Okay,
or
yeah.
if something's sort of perhaps amiss, within someone's body. I don't get it all the time. Sometimes I can see it as lights, like little lights that will glow up. I can see, in their bodies. Or I think with that kind of thing, generally when I see that, I don't say to people because I
Okay,
don't
yeah.
think that's appropriate.
No, no.
I mean, obviously, if it's very close people, that's like a lot of people say to me, "Oh, if you see something, you got to tell me," or "You hear something around me, you got to tell me." Then I might do, but it would be that kind of scenario that I wouldn't say anything. Or when I've been on a platform, on the spiritualist churches, spiritualist centres, giving
Yeah.
messages to people before, I might sometimes have visions of something in someone's life that's maybe not appropriate for me to say in public, or things that aren't quite of a good nature that you just shouldn't say out loud. So that's the sort of time I say, okay, I've heard that. I'll keep that there. We'll leave it there a
Yeah,
minute. Yep.
yeah.
So that kind of
Forget
thing,
that one.
really. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Mark can't see any of the chat. I don't know what's going on with his YouTube. Um, this is the first episode, I think, where StreamYard are doing a portrait and a landscape together. So I'm not sure how everybody is watching this. I don't think
Oh,
I'll
that's what
do it
you were saying
again.
to me, weren't you, when I asked about it as well?
Yeah, yeah, I was confused what you
Oh,
were
yeah, there's
saying.
two of them.
But yeah, Ali says he sees 111, 12, 12, 16, 16, 22 a lot. The universe telling me everything is on track and to stick with it and not give up.
Absolutely. Follow the signs, go with it. Because, from experience with me, it leads to positive things and to put you on a better energetical path in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're obviously from Northern Ireland. Have you ever investigated like Dublin, Southern Ireland at all? Have you been there to
No, do you know,
investigate?
yeah, I haven't really been to anywhere in Southern Ireland. I've been all over Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
The only place I have visited in Southern Ireland was the Newgrange, the Druid site.
Okay. Yeah.
They've got it's now sort of a closed place that you pay to go into. Unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, at least it's being upkept and the money's going towards it, so it is a good thing. But
Yeah.
it's got like a tunnel of light. You have to crawl into it, and I think
Okay.
it's a certain time in the year, sunlight streams through it, and so it's believed when the Druids, were there many many years ago, that would have been something very sacred when that one stream of light would have gone in and illuminated the inside of the
Okay.
structure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like a crazy big huge stone bowl thing, and they believe that might have been for like sacrificial purpose, that kind of thing. And I'll be honest, I didn't feel too much in there, but I think unfortunately because there was a lot of people in and around there. But in that particular tunnel, when it's not illuminated, it is very oppressive in there. But most of the sites I've been to are all in Northern Ireland. I would love to go to Southern Ireland to see a lot more there. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to Southern Ireland a few times, and the locations I've been to are pretty cool. I've been to Hellfire Club,
Oh
uh,
yeah, I'd love to go there.
Lep Castle, Redwood Castle.
Yeah.
So not too many, but they're pretty awesome locations. I've not been to Northern Ireland yet.
Mm.
I have. I nearly went a few years back. There was an old mill that we had access to, but something happened and I couldn't go.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was Cork's in. It's Cork in Northern Ireland,
Oh, that's Southern Ireland.
Southern Ireland. Oh, maybe it's not. Then I
Yes.
don't know.
Yeah, same from
I'm
Northern Ireland.
okay. I'll shut up now. It's yeah. So Tracy is. Thank you, Charlie, for answering that question. Um, Might needs to go out and come back in. Maybe his chat will come back. Yeah, I don't know why I can't. Obviously can't see what's going on with that. So saw on Facebook that you have an exciting project coming up. Now I know you said you can't talk about too
Too
much of
much.
it.
Yeah.
This show that you are going to be part of, what can you tell us
Yeah.
and what it's about?
Yeah, I got asked to be in a new paranormal show called Haunt Me If You Can. And it's directed and hosted by Dean Sharp from Dean of the Dead Productions. And so it's him, myself, obviously as a medium,
Yeah.
and we've got the awesome Mike Fielding from the Mighty Boosh. He's in it with
Oh
us.
wow.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and the wicked paranormal explorer Titchy Tiff. So basically, us three, so me, Mike, and Tiff, we are going to try and convince Dean that the paranormal exists. So Dean is a
Okay.
skeptic, even though he loves the paranormal. So we're going to be doing, lots of different experiments and some new things and going to all different locations. So really, really excited to get that started. We are starting to film straight after Christmas. So
Wow. What an
yeah,
awesome January you're going to have.
yeah, and it's going to be really cold as well. So it's going to be all sort of spooky and
Foggy and
dark.
frosty.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to be filming throughout the year, and then the series, series one, will be out later in the year. Hopefully, sort of
Nice.
towards autumn.
Do we know where this is going, or can't you say? Like what platform? I mean, it's going to be on.
I'm not too sure at the moment,
Okay.
but yeah, Dean will be giving further announcements later in the year. So there is an Instagram, and we'll be posting things on the Facebook, and yeah, there's going to be lots of behind the scenes things and that posted soon. So I just can't wait to get out there. It's going to be so much fun. We've got such a great team as well with
Yeah.
us. Yeah, really exciting.
It looks like Dean's very happy about that as well. Can't wait to get going on it.
Oh, Dean!
No, it's good when the chemistry's right when you're filming shows, because you can tell straight away if the chemistry's not there and it's not
Yeah,
clicking. You can see divide starting, and it's but when it's right, you can see it on screen, and it just works
exactly.
so well.
Yeah, and I mean, so far, we've all
Mick Jagger, I'm so excited.
yay, with all all the meetings and chats and all the pre-prep we've done. I mean, we all just bounce off each other,
Yeah,
and everyone's got their own different character and quality, and everyone's got something cool and new to bring to the table. I'm really excited about some of the stuff we've got planned. So,
Mike Fielding here by myself. Hee hee. So did you know each other beforehand, or
yeah,
was it in a slow process of having meetings and trying to figure out what you were going to do, the ideas and
yeah.
that?
Well, the thing is, because I also write for as you know, I'm brand ambassador for Haunted magazine, but I
Yeah.
also write for the Independent Horror Society as well. I'm a horror head, and I do
Okay.
reviews and articles for new scary films coming out. And Dean had actually brought out a new short film called Go to Hell earlier in the year. Wicked new
Yeah.
film that's going through the festivals at the minute. And Mike's in the film, Titchy Tiff's in the film,
Okay.
and I had written about it. So I'd done an article on it and interviewed them. And sort of from there, we all became friends and all got
That's good.
chatting and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, just built upon the friendship. And then obviously, we spoke about a few paranormal bits and Dean contacted me actually while he was away in Vegas, I believe, and said, "Yo, Charlie, we need to have a chat when I get back." And that's when the concept for the show started. So, yeah.
Wow. I'm excited for you because I remember doing stuff like that, and it's such a buzz, and like you just can't wait to get going. You want to film, it's investigate. It's brilliant.
I know. When you sort of, like I said to them, I get when I'm excited about something, I'm like, I'm non-stop. I'm just buzzing. I'm focused. I'm 24/7. As Dean knows, when his phone's probably going bing, 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 with ideas and things. I'm like, getting all the equipment together and the ideas and thinking, right, I've got to take this and that, and we're gonna do that. Yeah, can't wait. Really can't wait.
Well, I hope it all goes well for you.
Thank you.
So, what's been your favourite location you've investigated so far?
Favorite one. One of my favourites has got to be. Well, I've got two favourites actually, but Ham House, the National Trust House near Richmond. Oh,
Okay.
it is stunning, absolutely stunning, and it is, stepping back in time, and you go in there, and for me, it was so active, and like I went into the where you go in the actual foyer. There's a gallery on the like in an upper sort of circle at the top,
Yeah.
and I went up there. And I'm sort of walking around looking at all, the lovely pictures. And I mean, we went on a quiet day. We went in the week because we wanted to sort of not be around so many people. And I was on my own in the gallery. And all of a sudden behind me, I heard this creak, creak, creak. And I thought, what the heck? And of course, obviously I know old buildings debunk, you can, when you're walking along, they creak, don't they, the old floors. But it was just me in the gallery. And I thought, what the heck? And then, oh my God, literally behind me just went creak, 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 and it went really fast. And I went,
wow, it's running at you.
Yeah, and I jumped around expecting to see, like a child, someone's kid, maybe had come into and there was nobody there at all. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And I, heard it with my physical ears. It wasn't even a medium thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I researched the place afterwards, it was, I don't know. There was a story about one of the spaniels that used to belong to the Duchess of the house that people have said they hear running around the home. And I thought, okay, well, that would be really awesome if it was. And then funny enough, I gave a public talk not long after and spoke about Ham House. And the lady came up to me afterwards and she went, oh, hi, Charlie. She said, I used to work at the house. And she said, what you've just described and told me is exactly what we heard all the time, and what customers or visitors that came in would tell us, that they heard what they believed was the spaniel running around. And I mean, I was like, oh, wow, okay. And the house is like really active. Like when you go into the Duchess bedroom, there is quite an oppressive feeling in there. And there's a real strong smell of roses. And there's a mirror, which I didn't know at the time is known as a haunted mirror. And I just thought, oh, that's a pretty mirror. I walked over to it. And as I looked into it, all I heard really loudly, like in my ear, was "Mama." And I looked around. There's no kids there. There's nothing. I was like, what the heck? And again, when I sort of spoke to one of the women that worked there, she said, oh, yeah, she said, a lot happens in this room. And she said, we have for years got this smell of roses. And she said, apparently the Duchess used to love to have roses in the room. And I found out a lot of the staff members, because they all still sense her in the house, when they go to her room, they always say, good morning, Duchess. Good afternoon, Duchess, when they leave, because they feel they have to address her just because she wouldn't have liked anyone in her room,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fantastic place to go to. And I saw a butler on the stairs as well. There was a man walking up behind me on the stairs. Yeah, fantastic house. And
it's a big manor house, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a big estate, yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. A really protected and well worth a look house. It's just stunning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was the other one? Sorry.
Yeah, the other one I was going to say, I know I do talk about this place quite a bit because I don't know why, it's just so close to my heart. There's a place called Bonamargee Friary in Northern Ireland.
Okay.
And I went there sort of, we found it by accident one day. Just me and my dad were out on one of our magical mystery tours, driving around, and saw this ruin. And I said to my dad, how can we stop here? And he's like, aye, darling, let's stop here. Looks nice for a wee ritual. Let's have a wee wander. So yes, we do. We stopped, we got out. And it is, it is an old ruin. It's from the, early 1500s. And
Yeah.
I just felt like I was being followed. There was just a really strange sort of feeling there. Nothing, not horrible. And as you go around to the side, I mean, there's all sorts of gravestones in there, ones from the war. There's ones that have got skull and crossbones all over them. There's someone that's 127 years old. And right by what would have been the front of the friary is a very strange headstone. And I don't know, it looks weird, it feels weird. And when I went back and researched because I went there a few times, and then I researched the story, and it is actually the headstone of Julie McQuillan, who's known as the Black Nun there. She's a prophetess, or she was a prophetess.
Yeah.
And the more and more I dug into the story, and I did a feature on it for Haunted, because it just astounded me, everything I found out, is that she had several prophecies that are documented, including things like, she saw steamships many, many years before it was, they were even invented. Her most famous one is that she predicted that a red-haired priest would unfortunately drown before Mass. And that was linked to a story from the 1940s when a James McCann, a priest, was actually over there at the local, what's called Pan's Rocks, and he was swimming before Mass. And unfortunately, there is a whirlpool, which you can actually see when you clamber up on the rocks now. Like if you're looking to explore, you can see the caves, you can see the whirlpool.
It's still there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a wicked sight. And just the things like that have been documented about her, like all sorts of people have seen this nun still on the grounds, looking out from the top window, and there's not even a floor there anymore. There was even a couple there one time who they're walking through, and a massive rock flew out of the wall, and they had to sort of call the local heritage just to check. And even they said it was such a big rock, they don't know how it came out like horizontally. Really bizarre. And that's a magical place. And Dad and I, one time, we thought there's a story that if you circle around her grave several times clockwise, several times anti-clockwise, that she's supposed to appear. Now, obviously, being an explorer and a medium and a curious person, I had to try this.
You did it.
Yes, I did. But as a medium, I'm never disrespectful. I always say a little mantra and say, this is in love and light. This is in research. It's not anything, But I did it. And I remember my dad looked up from the camera part of the way through. So he's filming, he's going, but I still carry on spinning around. And when I stopped, I just literally felt someone come up on the left-hand side of my shoulder, like come up really close. And I was like, oh God, I just I thought she's her or someone's there. And then my dad said, darling, something moved across the camera. And I said, what? I said, oh my God, give me the camera. And he said, well, that's why I looked up from the screen, because a ripple went across and I thought somebody was standing there with you. And I was like, oh, okay. And I don't know what happened. I don't know, coincidence. I don't know if it was, okay, it could have just been an electrical error, but the camera malfunctioned. In the moment I went to take it, to look at the footage, the memory card went into error mode. Yeah. And literally, I was nearly cried. All of my footage from the day, so the photographs, the film, wiped. I was like, I couldn't believe it. So I didn't get to see the footage. And then weirdly after that, my dad fell really ill within the next hour. Oh. And I thought, oh my God, have we disrupted the energy? Have we upset the spirits? So I did my normal little thing. I went, and said, something to the energy there, and did a bit of a cleanse, and just said, it wasn't meant in any kind of, hope we didn't upset anybody, or wasn't meant in any malice or anything. And so that was crazy, but very cool.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think that is the reason your camera malfunctioned is because you're not allowed to know? You're not allowed to see until it's time to cross over?
Well, that's what my dad said, because my dad said, well, darling, they obviously didn't want us to see something, or they didn't want the video out there, kind of thing. And I was like, well, yeah.
Proof can't be there yet, I think.
Yeah, possibly. Or maybe it was just that my camera glitched. But the weird thing is, the camera's been fine since then. So the camera's not actually broken.
No.
I've used it since with another memory card. So it's so strange. But I love that place. If you actually, if any of you have time to look into that, I mean, there's lots of prophecies that she had predicted, and they have linked them to, future or her future, happenings, and it's a very cool story.
I love stories like that. Like, yeah, definitely better than the new ones.
Yeah.
So, sort of staying on that subject, if you could write or interview, say, a past spirit, a past famous person to do with the ghost stories or certain locations, who would it be? Who would you want to sit down with if you could have an hour with them?
With someone in the paranormal world, or just anybody? Someone
Yeah.
from a haunted location, yeah?
Yeah. Someone that you've maybe researched about, or that you know of, but haven't actually got round to doing that yet.
Oh my goodness, let me think.
Sorry, put you on the spot.
Okay. Well, a couple of people I would like to speak to is Harry Price.
Yeah.
Bawley Rectory. Because I know, a lot of people said, well, did he get carried away, pulled into the media frenzy? Was it all just an expectation? But I definitely believe there was something there. There had to be something there, at Bawley Rectory.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky a couple of years ago to see some items that were actually from Bawley Rectory that were at the Psychic College in Kensington. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a drawing and words in a diary from Reverend Ball. And it was actually the famous story of when he saw the nun in the garden at Bawley Rectory. So this is the real paperwork from the dude that actually saw it. He saw something. And because Harry Price spent so long there, there must be a lot of things that were documented and experienced that aren't out in the public eye yet. Other things that he didn't tell people, or more that he knew about. And I would also like to speak to Nikola Tesla. I know he wasn't exactly directly into the paranormal world, but there was something, within him, with the things he created, the advanced things that he made, all the technical things he did, and all the, what he created with electricity, which for some reason all the paperwork was destroyed and taken away because he was a genius.
It's because it was free renewable energy, wasn't it?
Exactly.
For free,
Yeah. And I think just one more.
Go on, then.
I'd like to speak to Edgar Casey. Casey, the medium.
Okay.
Because he was able to do so many things. Like, he was so in tune. He had messages, dreams, visions, left, right, and center. And he was definitely, like all these people that I think, the people that are sort of geniuses or, very advanced spiritually, I just think they're tapping into a lot more. They're able to do that. And for some reason, I don't know why, I said earlier, some of us are more in tune than others. But yeah, I'd really like to speak to them all about their knowledge and their wisdom. And yeah, there's so many more. I want to say, I want to talk to them all. Well, I should. That's a good point. You know what I was saying earlier about connection as a medium. Sometimes you get loads, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
I've never understood as a medium, why can't we, like, if I want to go and speak to Edgar Casey right now, or Harry Houdini, or whoever, why are we not able to just tap in and get messages like you and me are talking now? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always kind of a slight stream of information. Like, we can't have an actual conversation like you and I are now.
Yeah.
Like, why is it? I just never understand that. Why it seems a bit more restricted or difficult to just tap in. Because surely we should be able to just tap into anyone that's up there at any time.
And call them down.
But that's what I mean. Rather than just sort of, the way as mediums and stuff, we get bits and pieces, or we sort of just get a certain message that comes through in that moment. Why can't we chat away like we are now? That's one of the big questions that always gets to me. Do you know what I mean?
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'd be very famous. So Diane says, could these souls have been reincarnated, so not in the realm to contact?
Do you know, that's a really good point. Someone else said that to me earlier this year. And, sometimes when, people are looking for messages from loved ones, and that person that they're waiting for doesn't always come through. Like
No.
sometimes you might get a different relative or someone else come through and not actually the one they want. And when I've met people before, you know, that have, you know, come to get messages or comfort, and they're like, you know, why didn't such and such come through? Why doesn't my this relative, that relative come through? And then someone actually said to me, like the lady there just said, is
Diane,
what
yeah.
if it's because they've been reincarnated, so they're not actually in that part of space or whatever you want to call it, field time
Yeah,
anymore,
they're in a body.
and they're back down here.
That's
And it's
creepy,
like,
that is. That's,
yeah,
wow,
and that had
yeah.
never dawned on me before until someone said it recently. I was like, wow, that would actually make sense. Or do they go on to, if we're going to get sort of, you know, really deep and quantum here, or do they go into another dimension? Does their essence move into like some other dimensional plane that we're not aware of yet? Like, because
Yeah.
where do they go? Because I know we get information and messages and stuff, but you know, you sort of think, where are they? Because they're not just kind of floating about. They're obviously, their essence is somewhere. And funny enough, I had a seance with some people recently, and we were using various bits of, you know, equipment as well as our own sort of, you know, mediumistic senses as well.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the equipment I am a bit dubious of, if I'm honest, you know, some of the phone
Flashy
apps and
lights.
stuff. But
Yeah.
we had we had 3 devices going on. We had the spirit box, we had a phone app, and we also had the one of the word generators.
Yeah.
And this energy came through and was answering questions intelligently. And sorry, this is linked to what you were just asking in that question there.
Yeah.
And then somebody eventually came through and kept saying, higher, higher. And we're saying, well, what, you're higher? What do you mean? Where are you? And then I don't know what, something dropped in my head then and said, because the radio was, one of the radio was being a little bit quiet. And I thought, why don't we put the radio up higher? Is she saying, put it higher?
Yeah, move it, yeah.
Yeah, so we got the radio and we put it up on top of a high cabinet. Next minute, 3 voices were coming through. And then I said again, you know, where are you? And it said heaven. And then she said above.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're all going, okay, so can you see us? Are you up there? And then all of a sudden it said, are you a ghost? To us. And we all looked at each other and we thought, oh my goodness, because have you ever seen that film? It reminded me of Nicole
Others.
Kidman. The Others,
The
yes,
Others,
that's
yeah.
one of my favourite films ever.
That's an awesome film.
Yeah, and you know, it's like the
Yeah.
parallel of she thinks she's in the living world, but she goes to the other people
Yeah.
and so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
So I said, Dominic, hang on a minute, because if she thinks, or this energy thinks we're the ghost, we obviously think they're the ghost. And of course, because she keeps saying above, so instead of it being a parallel universe, a horizontal sort of universe,
Yeah.
is it this way that they're above instead of running alongside of us, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then that got us all talking and questioning, and we're like, this is so strange, this is like bizarre. And I do believe with even with the equipment and stuff,
The vertical plane, yeah.
I move all of the equipment, anything we use with any kind of, you know, radio, antenna.
Yeah.
Like myself as a medium, I say, you know, I have an internal antenna and that's how I communicate.
Yeah.
And I move the devices around because, like I was saying about the energy field around us, that we can tap into different parts of us.
Yeah, you were picking up on different areas. Yeah, maybe they will. Yeah.
And so that's why I move equipment around all the time. Like, especially when I'm doing spirit box, sometimes people are like, well, you bloody well sit still. I'm like, no, because I might tune into someone over there. I might get something up there. I might get something up there, you know, and it always works. So it works.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's very interesting about the reincarnation. I said somebody mentioned that recently and I was like, wow, I hadn't thought of that.
No, I've never thought of that before ever.
No.
So, well done, Diane. Wow. That's going to go away thinking about things now. So obviously you write for magazines, etc.
Yeah.
Is there a case that you'd like to have worked on? A famous case that's happened all over the years that you'd like to have been involved with and had some sort of input?
Well, I think the 2 main ones, I mean, I know I've already mentioned it, but Borley Rectory.
Poorly, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have been there to experience it for myself, you know, see how the people were acting in the house, kind of see what they were picking up on, looking at all the different notes that were taken. I think the other one would have been, I'd love to have been on one of the investigations like with the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
So maybe the Annabelle case, or the one that was the last exorcism, because they have so much.
The smell house. Yeah.
Yeah, they have so much information that they brought through. I know a lot of it obviously was, put a lot in the press, and there was a lot, like with all them cases, once it goes in the press, it kind of escalates, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that Lorraine Warren was a very gifted medium, and I would love to have worked with her on something. Well, with both of them, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and see the museum as well. I would love to get over to that.
Well, you can pay $3,000 and go if you want. I'm sure Elton and Matt will let you in.
Yeah.
No, there's some amazing cases, whether people believe in the cases, whether they were true or not. Like the Enfield one, they were only there like an hour or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely, the questions are there to be asked. So, they've done the files and.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I've always said, all of these stories, like all of these documented sightings, cases, everything stemmed from something.
Yeah.
For all of these people, all of these cases, all over the world, all over the years, something triggered this belief. Whether someone saw something, heard something, sensed something, all these stories came from somewhere. And it just, whether it did escalate, whether they did get more activity, I just find it so fascinating. There's so much to be investigated and explored. And I do sometimes get, people contacting me from, their normal everyday homes about hauntings.
Okay.
Which is very interesting because, it's different when you hear all the stuff on the telly and in the books. And when you actually sort of get normal, not normal, what I mean is, just everyday cases. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
People contacting you. Like there was one recently, obviously not going into it. Somebody just contacted me, sent me some CCTV. And, some things can be, as you know, debunked. And I do very much go into something open-minded, and I never go in straight away thinking it's ghosts. A process of elimination, everything. And, I got sent some footage recently, and I went over and over and over it, checked for EVP and everything. And, some things I was like, I can see that is actually bugs. That's nothing to worry about. That's not orbs or anything. That's cool. But, sometimes you can see other things, and you do kind of think, oh, hang on, that's strange. What's that? And I do find it just interesting sort of seeing it off the television and in the actual real, off the TV and out of the actual, famous haunted places when you just go into a normal haunted house. And funny enough, recently we were up in York, me and some friends and my mom, and we stayed in a very modern apartment. And the first night we were there, I kept in the night thinking there was someone standing by the door. And I kept sort of looking out my covers. I thought, what the hell? And there's nobody there. And I thought, okay. And then when I woke up in the morning, the funny thing was my mum said she thought someone was going past the corridor in the apartment.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay. And that evening we did actually do, a little bit of spirit connection and a bit of a seance. And we had so much coming through. I mean, things they were coming out with that linked to, past events and venues there that we found out about days later because we'd gone up there on a spooky trip kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, or it proved, to me, a lot of the time people think they have to go into a very old house or a very ancient ruin to experience the paranormal. But it's everywhere. It's, no matter where you are and whether it's, dark, light, day, night, it's just there. So I have more recently started to investigate sort of more current and normal kind of properties as well, just to see how that feels differently as well. Because obviously once upon a time there were older buildings there were people living there years and
on
years
the land.
Yeah, but I think most of it, most people sort of think, oh, we've got to go to a very old sort of place, which you get great stuff in there as well, but it's nice experiencing it now in the modern homes as well. It's more validation that there's definitely something and more there.
Yeah, rather than just old residual energy from an
Yeah.
old brick wall or some waterfall or something. Yeah. So we got a question from Marigold. Where did you feel the most paranormal energy in Northern Ireland?
Let me think. The most paranormal energy would be probably in the Crumlin Road jail. That place, and I know obviously, it is a jail, it's spooky, it's got dark history, but from the minute I stepped in that door, I felt surrounded. I remember in the main foyer,
Yeah.
I just stood there, and I mean, the light is a bit darkened, and I saw an older man sitting in the corner with a group of men around him, and I kind of looked, and they kept staring at me, and not very nice, and I was like, oh, I feel a bit uncomfortable, and I tried to ignore it, but everywhere I went in there, I had, the feeling of something kind of, well, obviously with the history of it, there weren't very
Yeah.
nice people in there, and I went through to, they've got like an underground tunnel. And as I got down into the tunnel, I saw a little girl, and she giggled and ran past me. And I kind of went, oh, she sort of ran past on my left. And I thought, that's really strange. Why is there a child in here? Why would there be a child spirit wanting to, hanging about in this horrible place?
Yeah.
And then as I walked on, in my mind, I asked her her name. Now, I heard her name as Annabelle. And then I sort of discussed, because my mum, obviously, she was there as well, being a medium, and she was like, oh, yes, there's a wee child down here. And I said, I know, the little girl just ran off down there laughing. And I'd literally just said to my mum, she told me her name was Annabelle. And then there was a tour guide up at the top, and he said, it's well known, we have the ghost of a wee girl down here called Isabel. And me and my mum went, oh. And of course, everyone's turned around and looked at us, and we're like, sorry, we're mediums. And I was just telling my mum that I'd seen a little girl, but I heard it as Annabelle.
Annabelle, yeah.
And of course, we found out later in the history that many, many years ago, they used to have women and children in that jail, all in there together. And, the kids were locked in there with the adults and, with like adult grown men and stuff. It must have been absolutely horrendous. Really awful. I mean, there's a story in there of, there was a young lad, unfortunately, it got too much for him, and he sadly hung himself from his hammock in there. And yeah, there's just lots and lots of energy in there, but unfortunately dark energy. And I did at one point, when I was in one of the wings, there was a guy walking along the top, a spirit man pacing back and forth, and it was a really horrible, horrible feeling. And I kept looking up at him, and my mum said, okay, you're seeing something, aren't you? And I said, yeah, I don't like it. I really don't like it. And then it just felt like his energy shot from out of him and into my chest. And I went, and I literally, it felt like anger, frustration, and pain just flew into my chest. And I went, get me out, please just get me out a minute. And I stepped out of the wing, and then it was kind of okay. And but yeah, it's a fantastic place, and I loved every minute of it, because obviously that's part of what I do. You get the positive and the negative energy. And the thing is, people say to me, oh, but you should only really go to places of light, and I'm like, well, I'm a researcher, I'm an explorer.
Exactly.
So, with what I do, I want to experience all energies, all paranormal, all everything, because then you give more valid information from your experience, and I wouldn't shut the door on anything in the name of research. And so I'll go in anywhere to investigate, absolutely anywhere.
That's what always makes me laugh, though. People say, oh, we do like a spiritual cleansing at the beginning, like to protection, love and light and all that stuff, and it's like we don't want no negative coming through, and it's like, you're there to investigate.
Exactly.
You get good and bad. If you can't handle some sort of negative spirit, that's fine. Just take yourself out, or someone else can take you out. But why would you not, cut yourself off from half of potential energy?
What you could capture. Yeah.
Exactly.
I totally
what are you
agree.
there for otherwise? I don't understand that.
Yeah, I do agree. And obviously no disrespect to, any other mediums or spiritual workers that choose to work that way, and as that, sort of, but as you said, I'm not fluffy with my mediumship or my
No.
work, and I want to experience it all. And even if I understand, when people say you need to put protection up and that kind of thing. I mean, I do say my little mantras. I know how to look after my own energy and field. So, and if I'm with other people, I would sort of say something for them as well, especially if you are going into a dark place. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I wouldn't want to cut any of it off for a second. I'm open to researching all of it.
Exactly. So Diane said she had to ask someone recently not to put protection on her. Exactly, Diane. Why would you? I don't understand it. If you're too scared, don't do it.
Yeah,
That's the way I
exactly.
look. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So Diane also comments on the point about the spirits. The modern day clothing has been seen at Jamaica Inn, and then like a spirit of a man. Because
Oh, okay.
it's always Victorian ghosts, isn't it? But then, like they
Yeah.
say, they were God fearing. They didn't want to go up because they've been bad. They didn't want to go down because they'll be in hell. So they stayed on Earth.
Yeah.
But recently, you don't really see them in a baseball cap and a hoodie, do you? These spirits.
Would I mean, again, as what I do with mediumship, when I give readings at the spiritual centres, which unfortunately I haven't done it in a little while because I've just been, so busy with the writing and filming, but I do therefore get to see people's, past relatives in a more modern sort of state, if you know what I mean. Because I'm giving a
Okay.
current message
Yeah.
and reading, then I do see, sort of modern people as well. Modern spirits, sorry, as well. If you know what I mean, not modern. That's the wrong word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
as you said, not ye old Victorian. And I love all that stuff too because that's great when you see that. And actually, do talking about ye old, well, earlier than Victorian, we got into Hampton Court to do an investigation recently, and we went into just something I think is really fascinating about talking to spirit and connection. We went into the Great Hall, and we weren't getting much response or anything coming through the devices. So we're kind of like,
Yeah.
God, we want Henry VIII, we want Anne Boleyn, and then everyone, we kept asking, so, if there's anyone there wants to talk to us, or can we da-da-da. And the next minute, I don't know if you've ever done this on your investigations, it dawned on me that we're addressing royalty here. And we're all going, oh, can you talk on this? Oh, can you come share us on that? And I'm thinking, hang on. And I said to my crew, I said, bear
Peasants.
with. Yes, heathens. I said, bear with. I said, roll with me on this. And if people think we're nuts, I don't care. And I said, we need to address royalty as royalty. So I turned around and said, oh, Your Majesty, thank you, curtsy, bow, thank you for inviting us to your humble abode. Maybe ask, please, who is present or who we're in the presence of. And I swear to God, we started getting stuff from the spirit box. We started to, and we actually, me and my friend Emmy, we literally curtsied, bowed, tried the lot.
Yeah.
But it worked. It did something to the energy field that we then started getting a response. And I went into the games room, did the same thing, and I asked who was there. And through the my earpiece on the spirit box, it went Lady Catherine, and I was like, oh, I heard that as clear as day.
Wow.
Yeah, we started. So when we changed our sort of current, energy and the way we were actually talking to the spirits to their time or to their status, for us, it made things work and it changed the field. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever tried that in any of your investigations. That kind of
not with royalty, but
yeah.
100%. I can understand why, because they're probably thinking that's foreign language. I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Whereas they would speak a more, obviously, King's English, etc., blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and their own unique way back in whenever their time period was. So yeah, they wouldn't understand how you and I would speak now. So yeah,
and they must have thought we were being disrespectful, because we're like, oh no, everyone there can talk to this, talk to that, and they're probably thinking, hither, go away, no speak to me, kind of thing, because we're being like something like that, you know what I mean?
In it, bruv.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hi, Matt. I hope you're good. Yeah, like the Singapore theory, Diane says. Ooh, yeah, very much so. With trigger objects.
Yes.
Using things to things that they would be used to, associated with their time, what they used to do, their clothing, etc. Yeah.
Yeah,
So speaking how they would speak is very similar. So that would
exactly.
obviously it did work very well for you. So another question from Marigold: have you ever had anything stay attached to yourself that wouldn't
Marigold, is that
leave?
my wee sister? Oh yes, that's my sister Ellie.
Oh, okay.
I just saw the picture, just recognised the picture there. So stay
Hello.
attached to after. Yes. um, I haven't had anything particularly attached per se, but I've come back from places before where I have had some strange occurrences. Like I can't remember particularly where we were, but sometimes things start happening in my flat that are a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I came back from, I can't remember where we were. I came back from somewhere one time, and I woke up. Like I don't normally, get freaked out in the night by the dark or anything like that. And there are a couple of times when I come back from places and I think there's someone at the end of the bed, or I think there's someone in the room, and I'm like, and turn the lamp on. Or I had it one time where I kept feeling that someone was behind me and kept, walking up behind me, and I'd swing around and there's no one here in my flat. And I mean, this isn't, it's not a haunted flat. I mean, I've had things sort of fall over before after I've been doing spirit work, but so not actually anything attached, but maybe I brought a little bit of something with me sometimes. I'm not sure.
Would you not know if you brought it home, being a medium? Like, would they be able to hide from you? Do you reckon?
I think because I'm used to something being there a lot in my normal life anyway. Therefore, I kind of, how can I put it? Like when it's an energy that I know is a nicer energy that I'm familiar with, I can tell when it's different. So like you said, like if something comes in here after, an investigation, I can feel if it feels unfamiliar, or if it feels a little bit more, not malevolent, but do you know what I mean? Something, I'll be like, oh, that's not my normal energy
Yeah.
around here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That
you
kind of,
notice it, yeah.
yeah, it's hard to explain. What was your question? Would they hide from me, did you say?
Could they? So if you brought something negative back to your flat, would they be able to be around the house, flat, moving stuff around, making you feel maybe slightly uneasy, unwell, for you not to be able to pick up on it?
Maybe. I think because I'm a very sensitive person. I've
Yeah,
always been very emotional, very sensitive since I was a child. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I say like I used to, get a lot of depression, that kind of thing. And I've struggled with
yeah,
anxiety. And I do notice that sometimes when I'm in those states, that I sometimes get heightened activity.
okay, yeah,
Now, is that just because I'm in a vulnerable state and something's there? Or is that, like you said, maybe something around that makes itself a little bit more present or comes to me more in a vulnerable state? I'm not too
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
No, maybe Diane's saying maybe if they were not human, maybe some other entity,
Yeah. Well,
or
oh,
sorry, Kate Ray's explanation of imps. It's quite a similar thing.
would you know, you saying about the imps there, something that I've been looking into quite a bit recently is,
Yeah,
because I do believe there are a lot more entities and energies out there than just, ghosts, ones that we're aware of, but we're not sure what they are. And I was talking to someone recently about, what people call or say as elementals.
yeah, yeah,
And I must admit, I don't so much work in that kind of realm. But it dawned on me recently because like I was just saying, I'm very sensitive, and I've always, since I was young, been able to pick up on the energies of plants and trees. Like
okay,
I know this sounds really kind of maybe hippified or woo-woo, but literally I can walk past trees and feel a buzz under the ground from the roots, or I can feel the energy from the actual tree trunks and stuff. And someone said to me recently, because there's been a lot of, more so now documented because these TV shows and YouTube and this, that, and the other, where people are seeing energies and beings in forests.
Yeah.
and around, around plants and green spaces. And I was thinking, because, trees are, we know they are living entities as well.
Yeah. Natural energy. Yeah.
Yeah, surely maybe these could be the energies or the spirits of the trees and the plants, because sometimes people see them in different forms. They don't show themselves as a, shall we say, like a human looking form. They
No.
can be just, balls of light that people see coming out of trees and things, or they can just be shadows, and again, that was something that I hadn't looked too much into until this year, actually. And I found that really, really interesting. Elementals, are they actually just the energies, of the land and the trees and plants?
Well, the stories of those have been going on for many, many, many years.
Mm,
So there must be, like say, a story comes from somewhere originally.
yeah,
So it's got to be someone wouldn't just make it up. I don't think there must have been
no,
something that they saw one day, or maybe they heard, or someone else told them, and it just flowed from there.
yeah.
So,
And it just got
but
added to
yeah,
along the
yeah,
years. And that's something I very much like about, with Northern Ireland is, or Celtic folklore stories, is they always started somewhere from some kind of story. And over the years, they've got elaborated on and things got added, and they either got turned a little bit spooky or a little bit kind of, fairy tale-y. And people still tell these stories to their children now. Like,
yeah.
even when I went to, Bonamargi, and when I didn't know too much about it, and my aunt said, "Oh, you're going to the land of dreamless sleep." I went, "Sorry?" And she said, "Oh, when I was a wee girl, we used to get told that was the land of dreamless sleep and you don't go in there." And I was like, "Oh, wow. Okay." So people still carry on the story. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
It's
wow.
really...
So guys, if you've got any more questions for Charlie, if you can put them in the comments before we finish up, that'd be awesome. So, haunted objects, yes or no?
um, yes.
Yeah. You think they can have attachments, objects?
I believe that for some I mean, I don't know why, but for some reason, an energy can sort of stay around a certain object
Hmm.
for a while or for a reason. Actually, I had this conversation with someone recently, and I actually spoke to the medium Gordon Smith about it as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And he was saying that there's no such thing as haunted places, only haunted people, that kind of thing. And
yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard
same
that.
with
Yeah.
the objects. Yeah. Sorry, you got me thinking now. I'm thinking out loud about it, about the haunted objects, because obviously I do believe. I'm not one for just believing in, full on attachments. Like when people say to me, "Oh, with what you'll do, you're going to get all these attachments." And I'm like, oh, I think it's also to do with belief system as well, though.
Yes.
I think it is. And I'm not saying that, items aren't haunted or don't have energies, because they do. They absolutely do. But I think sometimes with, in some cases, the belief can make it stronger, or it can make more manifest around this object,
Yeah.
with their belief in energy as well. I mean, I'd love to have a haunted doll. I want one. I keep
I've got
buying
got
dolls, and
Janet
I
over
keep...
there.
Do you know, I've got, I don't know if, can you see over there on that side? Can you
Yeah.
see my
Is
nun
that
doll
none?
there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Sister Mary, and I love her to pieces. And I talk to her. It's really, really bizarre. I can't help it. I just chat away, and I do with these items, but I hope that they'll respond and something will happen. I tell you though,
One day.
if something did happen, yeah, and she ends up like crawling on the floor or something, I'd probably just crap myself.
With her head spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want that at night time. So Tracy's got a question. Charlie, what is the most challenging or rewarding part of being a medium?
The most challenging part of being a medium, I think, is, especially doing what I do, there is an expectation. People, expect you to come out with the exact information all the time. And like I was saying earlier, sometimes information can flow like freely, constantly, all the time, and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
times it doesn't, and I don't know why that is. And I think that, as you know, when I was doing platform mediumship, when I was going on stage, the biggest fear is that you're going to get on stage in front of 30, 40 people and nothing comes through. And
Awkward.
that's super panicky. And I had to, for a long time, sort of meditate before I went on, just to chill, because I would be panicking. I'd be like, well, if they're not going to run through, what if they don't talk to me? I mean, they most of the time do. And I think another thing as well, sometimes that energy might come through and I can see the person clearly. I'm getting visions, I'm getting names, and I'll put it out, to the audience. And for, people can't recognize the spirit and they can't connect. And what I normally do in that sense is I say to the spirit energy, well, I'm really sorry. In my mind, I don't say it live on stage. I just kind of just say, thank you very much for coming along. But the person doesn't recognize you, I'll have to bring another energy in, and they kind of step aside, and then another one, because I normally have a bit of a queue. I have several of them standing behind me. But for me, the most rewarding thing in mediumship is when you do give a very valid and meaningful message to someone. I had a lady a couple of years ago, I brought through her child that had passed, and and I told her about things that were moving in the house, and I gave her a message, and she went away, and she came back the next week to see me, and she said, after I saw you, I cried and I cried, and I was like, oh God, no. I said, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. And she went, no. She said, you've given me the message and the validation that, of my child, and my child is safe. And she said, I realized I hadn't grieved. She said, I hadn't even cried. And she said, I didn't realize that until you gave me that message. And she said, I just want to thank you so much. And she cried and gave me a hug. And, that's just so rewarding when you've given someone some hope, some comfort. And I love that side of things, as well as, the other ways I use it.
Yeah, that'd definitely be the most rewarding for me, just to help a grieving person. Gator says, I'll be curious if you would pick things up all the time. We sort of spoke about that earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's lots of voices coming through. Other times it's not really that much. So I hope that answers your question, Gayla. Couple more questions for me, if you don't mind.
Yep. No.
So tomorrow we are going anywhere in the world, bucket list location. You can spend a week there if you want. Where are you going to investigate?
Well, oh God, there's so many places I want to go
to.
Two. There's so many.
Seven.
Right, hang on. Let me quickly think. Well, I'll tell you what is on my bucket list.
Okay.
Is Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Vegas. Yeah. I have to get there. I'm dying to get there. And one of the other places I'd love to go to is the Winchester House.
Mystery House.
Yeah, I'd really like to go there. But on a more... I'm going to do 3. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
More spiritual level, because I love Egyptology and linking into... the ancient sort of Egyptian energy. I really, really want to go to the pyramids. I'm dying to go over to Egypt just to see what I can tap into over there.
That'd be cool.
I'd love to. Yeah, that would be amazing. I've always loved Egyptology and the whole story of, the gods. And again, that's a place. I think there's so much more there that we even know or understand. Yeah. And I think the land there, when I step onto that, I'm just going to feel a really strong energy.
Well, I only know Derek Okora is the only person I know that has been to Egypt to do that sort of thing. So that would be pretty cool for you to go over there. But there's so many other places. But yeah, I'll be here till tomorrow going that one. We all want to go to We're all going to go there, yeah. And my last question for you this evening, if you could get rid of one thing in a paranormal, something that really annoys you, whether it's location, people, the way they investigate, equipment, what would it be?
One thing I would say, which I've noticed recently, is why can't we all just get along, be friendly, not be in so much competition, enjoy each other's exploration, get involved with everyone's work? Because I don't know, I just noticed recently there's the competition and rivalry's got a little bit
It's awful at the moment. It's
intense. Is that the word?
toxic. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And with me, like I said, I love hearing everyone's theories. I love watching
yeah,
everyone's shows. It's all creativity. It's all, new evidence. It's all, I'd love it if we could all just enjoy each other's work, jump in and out of each other's work, share the experience and the exploration together. I'd love that to happen. And I think sometimes at the moment I mean, I've been speaking to quite a few people, and there's been times even when people are actually experiencing real things and they're being called fakes. And I
yeah,
understand. So a lot of people, some of what we do can be seen as out there and woo-woo and all a bit fantastical or fake, if that's what it's called, what people want to call it. But, you and I know, as people that are actually there experiencing it, knowing what we do, we just tell our truth. We tell of our
yeah.
experience. We give our evidence. I mean, okay, there might be the odd few out there that are maybe spoiling it for the rest of us, but yeah, I just want everyone in the paranormal just to start enjoying each other and, as I said, loving each other's evidence and shows, and that would just be
It's
great.
it's all about jealousy, and I
So,
don't see what gives me the right to say what you do is rubbish or fake.
yeah,
Same as you saying it to me or me saying it to Brian down the road. We
exactly.
have no right to say this to each other. Like, if you don't like what they're doing, showing you, don't look at it, don't
Don't
watch
watch
it.
it. Yeah,
It's like a TV show. If you don't like it, you switch over.
exactly.
But we have to get involved and start bitching about people behind their backs. It's pathetic and it's really, really
Yeah.
sad. Yeah, so I agree with you on that one.
And as Barry would say, I'm proud to be paranormal. And yeah, don't be
Here's your
normal, be
badge.
paranormal, as we say, in
Yeah,
Haunted Magazine. I love the scene. I love the people. I've made some
exactly.
fantastic new friends and people I'm working with. I'm working with several different people, and
Yeah,
everyone's been amazing to me. And I'm so grateful with that. And I just wish, that everyone else in the scene could all be the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
good old Barry.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Tracy, thank you, Mickey, for your podcast. Thank you, Charlie, for your stories. They were fascinating, and you are a really lovely person. Ah.
Oh, thank you very much.
Uh, Dean, maybe we can film season 2 in Egypt, Charlie. That would be so
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
There you
Let's
go.
go, Dean. I'm ready.
You got to film series 1 first.
That's happening very soon.
Yeah. Huntex TV, well done, Ricky. Another cracking episode. Great to hear from you, Charlie.
Thank
Um,
you.
Gayla, why not build up and encourage each other? That applies to anyone, anywhere, by all.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
here's your badge.
fine.
Classic Mickey. Cheers.
Thank you.
I admit. Yes, so, Charlie, awesome show tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. We could talk to you
Oh,
for
thank
another
you
3 hours, I'm sure. Uh,
very much.
where could people get in contact with you to see what you're doing, seeing what you're up to?
Yeah, I'm at Haunted Magazine, Spooky Isles, Independent Horror Society. I mean, my Facebook's Haunted Charlie Hall, and Twitter X is Haunted Charlie H. I will have an Instagram and a YouTube coming soon. Yay!
Whoop whoop. Yeah, thanks,
And yeah,
Mickey and Charlie.
check out yeah, Haunt Me If You Can. I said
Yeah,
that
stay tuned for that
was
for updates on when that's finished, where that's going to be able to be watched. So that'd be awesome. So thank you, Charlie.
Thank you so much. That's been really cool chatting to
Pleasure.
you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much. I'll see you
everyone.
later. There you go, guys. Wow, what an awesome guest Charlie is. Please, please go check her out. Go read her stories in Haunted Magazine. Make sure you go and follow her on her socials, and just get ready for the new show that's coming next year in 2026. So yes, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure. It's nice to come back, and Charlie eased me in tonight. It was a great, easy chat tonight. Really appreciate that. We have Michelle next week, 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, the Ghostoul Podcast. Make sure you tune in, and we'll see you then. See you later, guys. Thank you so much.